I dropped my fork halfway through my steak. Wait, what did you just say? I asked, my voice tighter than I intended. Robert Matthews.
What?
My father leaned back in his chair with that smug expression he always wore when he thought he'd won. I said it clearly, Liam. Ethan will inherit the trust fund. $5 million. All of it. I blinked. My stomach flipped. All of it. And me. What am I supposed to get? Linda, my mother, shifted uncomfortably, her napkin trembling in her hands. Honey, maybe we should. Mom, don't. I cut her off. I needed him to answer. Dad, I've worked my whole life trying to impress you. You've always said I should be responsible, ambitious. Why not me? He sighed as if my question were tedious. Liam, you're already independent. You don't need the money. Ethan, he needs the security. It's different with him. I laughed, but it came out hollow. Different. Different how? Because I actually did what you asked. Because I followed your stupid rules. And he gets everything? Ethan, seated across from the table, leaned back and smirked. Relax, big brother. I didn't ask for it. Dad's just being generous. I clenched my jaw. Generous. This isn't generosity, Ethan. This is favoritism. Plain and simple. Favoritism. Dad repeated, his tone clipped. I'm making a choice that makes sense. I didn't favor anyone unfairly. You'll understand when you're older. I shook my head. Understand? I'm 26, Dad. I've been busting my ass while you pretend I don't exist in my own family. Linda reached across and touched my arm lightly. Liam, please. Try to see it from your father's perspective. He's thinking about Ethan's future. Perspective. I snapped, jerking my arm away. Perspective would have been considering my future too. Not acting like I'm some invisible afterthought. Ethan chuckled, leaning forward. You always dramatize everything, Liam. Maybe take a deep breath. I stared at him, my chest tightening. Take a deep breath. Ethan, you just got handed a fortune I could only dream of. And your excuse is I'm dramatic. Dad shook his head slowly. I expected more gratitude, Liam. From you, I mean, you're letting jealousy cloud your judgment. Jealousy. I felt like I'd been punched. Gratitude? You expect gratitude when you ignore every sacrifice I made for this family. You act like Ethan's life matters more than mine. Mom's voice quivered. Liam. No, Mom. I can't just sit here and nod. I deserve an explanation. A real one. I pushed my chair back and stood, pacing the dining room. Do you even see me, Dad? Or am I just the kid you can't figure out how to reward? Ethan snorted. This is getting intense. Chill, I can't chill. I've lived my whole life trying to earn your approval, and you, I swallowed hard, my throat tight. You've been ignoring me all along. Dad leaned forward, his hands flat on the table. Liam, this isn't about ignoring you. It's about making a responsible choice, Ethan. He needs the money more than you. I laughed bitterly, a short, sharp sound. Needs it more? So, all my years of trying, of following rules, of working hard, counted for nothing? Mom's eyes glistened. Liam. I shook my head, feeling the anger and hurt curl up inside me. Nothing. That's what it counted for. Nothing. I guess I've been invisible my whole life. Ethan grinned, as if I had just admitted defeat. Well, at least you're honest about it. I turned away from the table, swallowing the lump in my throat. Yeah, honest. That's all I can be. Because apparently, that's the only thing I get in this family. I walked out of the dining room, leaving the clinking silverware and shocked faces behind. The echo of my father's words followed me, sharper than any knife. Ethan, he needs the security, and just like that. I realized Di had been invisible all along. I knocked on my father's study door. Dad, can we talk? He didn't look up from his papers. Make it quick, Liam. I have a meeting in an hour. I stepped inside anyway. It's important. I need answers. He raised an eyebrow. Answers. I thought I was clear at dinner. Ethan gets the trust fund. I heard you, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. But I want to know why. Why him and not me? Robert leaned back, folding his hands. Liam, you're already independent. You've built a life for yourself, Ethan. He needs the security more than you do. I laughed, but it came out hollow. Needs security? I've been busting my ass, Dad. You've watched me struggle, sacrifice, and follow every rule you set. And I'm invisible, he sighed. It's not about invisibility. It's about practicality. Ethan's temperament, his plans. He's not as self-sufficient as you? Not self-sufficient? I shook my head. So all my efforts, all my years of loyalty and hard work, they mean nothing? Jessica, his assistant, peeked in. Mr. Matthews, your 10 a.m. meeting? I'll be there in 10, Dad said sharply. Jessica, please leave us. The click of the door shutting made the tension heavier. I took a deep breath. Dad, I'm asking for honesty. Is there something personal here? Something you're not telling me? He hesitated, then looked away. Liam, I've always tried to guide you. You've never needed me in the same way Ethan does. You're capable, independent. You can handle life on your own. I felt a sting behind my eyes, but I fought it back. So my entire life, what I wanted from you, approval, guidance, doesn't matter? It matters, he said quietly, almost too quietly. But I can't give Ethan the same risks you can take. He'll crumble without it. I shook my head, pacing the study. You're choosing him because you think he's weak? You've always judged me, tested me, made me prove myself. Why not him? Why the favoritism? Dad's jaw tightened. It's not favoritism, Liam. It's different circumstances. Ethan needs help navigating the world I didn't prepare him for. I laughed bitterly. Different circumstances? So my sacrifices are irrelevant because I survived on my own. I followed every rule, Dad. I did what you told me to do. He leaned forward. That's exactly why you don't need the money. You've proven you can manage, Ethan. He hasn't. I'm protecting him, not punishing you. Protecting him? I repeated, voice rising. It feels like betrayal. I never intended for it to feel that way, he said. You'll see eventually. You'll understand. I shook my head, anger bubbling. Understand? I don't think I ever will. And frankly, your explanation doesn't make it better. It just makes me realize I've been competing in a game I didn't even want to play. Later, I logged onto my social media. Ethan had posted a photo, him in a luxury car with a caption bragging about his new financial freedom. I stared at it, my stomach sinking. You're really enjoying this, huh? I muttered to myself. Alex, my college friend, messaged me. Ignore him. He's a spoiled brat. Don't let this get to you, I typed back quickly. It's not just him. It's Dad. All my sacrifices. Invisible. I don't know if I can forgive this. Alex replied almost immediately, then don't. Just focus on building your own life. Show them what they're missing. I closed my laptop and leaned back in my chair, staring at the ceiling. Anger, betrayal, and shame churned inside me. My father's words echoed, and Ethan's smug smile haunted me. I realized I was at a crossroads, stay and fight for approval I'd never get, or walk away and reclaim my life. The answer felt heavy, but clear. I couldn't stay in a house where I was invisible. I couldn't let their favoritism define my worth. I had to leave to find my own path, to survive on my terms, and for the first time that day, felt a flicker of clarity amidst the storm. Maybe walking away was the only choice left that would let me breathe. I slammed my bedroom door behind me and let out a shaky breath. I can't do this anymore, I muttered to myself. Alex's voice buzzed on my phone. Liam, what's wrong? You sound tense. I'm done, Alex. I can't stay here, I said, pacing the room. Dad, Mom, Ethan, they don't see me. None of them do. There was a pause. Wait, are you saying what I think you're saying? I'm leaving Manhattan, I admitted. I'm walking away from the house, the money, the trust fund. All of it. I can't stay under their roof, being invisible. It's suffocating. Alex let out a soft whistle. Wow, that's huge, Liam. You sure about this? Yes, I said, almost too quickly. I'm sure. I need to breathe. I need to prove to myself that I can survive on my own without their approval or their money. Okay, he replied slowly. Brooklyn. I nodded to myself even though he couldn't see me. Yeah, I found a small apartment. Cheap, but it's mine. I'll start from scratch. You've got guts, man. I'll help however I can. Boxes. Moving. Anything. Don't do this alone, I know. Thanks, Alex. I just don't want pity. I want freedom. But it's scary, you know? I rubbed my temples. Scary is good. That means it matters. You're alive. You're making choices. You got this, Liam? I grabbed a box and started packing my things. I've got to sort through everything. Clothes, books, pictures. I can't take all the memories, can I? Alex's message popped up again. Take what you need emotionally. Leave the rest. You're building your future, not holding on to the past. I sighed and held a framed photo of Dad, Mom, Ethan, and me at my college graduation. I stared at their smiling faces, but all I felt was a knot in my stomach. I'll leave this, I whispered. They don't deserve to see how it hurts me. I went through my closet, tossing clothes into boxes. I didn't realize how much I had accumulated, I muttered. Everything reminds me of them, Alex texted. Remember, you're doing this for yourself. Not revenge. Not spite. Freedom. Independence. I smiled faintly. Yeah, independence. That's what I need. Finally, I found a letter Dad had written me when I was 18, praising me for graduating with honors. My fingers trembled. Funny he cared once. What changed? I crumpled it into a box. Alex's voice came through on speaker. Hey, Liam. Don't let it crush you. You're stronger than you realize. I hope so, I admitted. I just don't know how to survive without their money, without their guidance. It's a new world. You'll learn, he said confidently. You've got brains, charm, drive. You'll be fine. And if you stumble, you get back up. That's life. I sat on the edge of my bed, looking at the packed boxes. I've spent 26 years living for them, trying to earn approval that never came. I can't keep doing that. Alex's voice softened. Then don't. Start fresh. You'll find yourself in the process. I nodded, feeling a lump in my throat. Thanks, Alex. I don't know what I'd do without you. You'd do fine, he replied. But I'll be here anyway. The next morning, I loaded the last of my boxes into a rented van. Dad didn't ask questions. Mom barely looked at me. Ethan smirked, as if this move was a game I'd already lost. I took one last look at the mansion, the house I grew up in, and whispered, goodbye. Goodbye to all of it. I won't be invisible anymore. The ride to Brooklyn was quiet. I stared out the window, the skyline shrinking behind me. Fear twisted in my stomach, but so did a flicker of hope. I could do this. I had to. When I reached my small apartment, the door felt heavier than it should. I set down the boxes and sank into a chair. Okay, Liam, I said aloud. This is your life now. Make it yours. I unpacked slowly, feeling the weight of freedom settle over me. It wasn't easy. Bills, rent, groceries. I had to figure it all out myself. But for the first time in years, I felt alive, like I could breathe. Alex's text buzzed. Celebrate the little wins. One box, one meal, one day at a time. You got this, I smiled. Yeah, one day at a time. For the first time, I realized I wasn't leaving Manhattan just to escape. I was leaving to find myself. To be seen, to matter. To finally own my life on my own terms. And as I stared out the window at Brooklyn, the city buzzing below, I felt it. Fear, yes, but also liberation. I had walked away, and this time I wasn't looking back. I stared at the job posting again. Entry level? Really? I have a degree in finance and years of experience. Alex's text popped up. It's a start. Trust me, I sighed. Yeah, a start. At least it's a paycheck, I guess. On my first day at the startup, walked in, and Daniel, my assigned mentor, approached me. Leah Matthews. I've read your resume. Impressive on paper. Let's see how you handle the real world. I forced a smile. Thanks, sir. I'm ready to learn. He raised an eyebrow. Good attitude. You'll need it. Things move fast here. Later, I was introduced to my team. Sophie, Mark, and a few others shuffled papers and typed rapidly. You must be Liam, Sophie said, smiling faintly. We'll be working together on the analytics project. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, I said. Inside, I was sweating. The office was nothing like the glass towers I grew up around. No assistants, no catered lunches, just coffee-stained desks and fluorescent lights. Mark leaned over. Don't worry. We've all been the new guy. Daniel will scare you half to death, then guide you. Just survive the first week. I chuckled nervously. Great. I love challenges. By lunch, I had spilled coffee on my shirt while carrying a stack of reports. Sophie shook her head, half amused, half sympathetic. Don't worry, Liam. First week hazards, I muttered. Yeah. First week hazards. I felt the sting of humiliation, but I pushed forward. Daniel appeared beside me in the break room. Spilled your coffee? He asked, smirking. Yeah, I admitted. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing is part of growth, he said. You'll fail a lot before you succeed. Keep notes. Learn fast. I nodded. I understand. I'll do better. He leaned back against the counter. You've got potential. But don't rely on your past, Liam. Privilege won't carry you here. Only skill, effort, and strategy will. His words hit me hard. I clenched my fists. I got it, Daniel. I'll prove I can do this without anything handed to me. Good, he said. Walking away. That evening, I sat at my tiny Brooklyn apartment, going over spreadsheets and budgeting my rent. $1,200 for rent, $200 for utilities, $154 groceries, $54 internet. Great, I muttered aloud. Every cent counts now. Alex called. How's the first week going? I rubbed my eyes. Exhausting. I've been humiliated more times than I can count. Spilled coffee, missed a deadline, confused terms. It's humbling. Exactly, Alex said. Humbling is good. You're learning resilience? I laughed bitterly. Resilience, huh? Funny. I thought life would be easier after walking away from my family. Turns out, it's just harder in a different way. Better than invisible, Alex reminded me. I paused. He was right. Yeah, better than invisible. Daniel popped into my mind again. Skill, effort, strategy. I repeated it under my breath. I have to focus. I can't let anger consume me. I have to turn it into something productive. At the office the next day, Sophie asked, Hey, want some help with the dashboard? Please, I said, relieved. I'm still getting the hang of the software, Mark chimed in. Don't sweat it. You'll catch up. Daniel says, You're sharp. I smiled. Thanks. Means a lot. Throughout the week, I stumbled, corrected, learned, and repeated. Each mistake was a reminder no one was giving me a pass here. No trust fund, no silver spoon, just my wits, determination, and guidance from Daniel. That evening, I texted Alex. I think I understand. It's brutal, but good. I feel alive. Like I'm finally earning something that's mine. Alex replied, That's exactly it. Keep going. You'll see results soon. I stared out the window at the Brooklyn skyline, lights twinkling. Manhattan felt far away, like a different life. I whispered to myself, This is mine now. Every mistake, every struggle, this is my proof. I'm finally standing on my own. Daniel's words echoed, Only skill, effort, and strategy will carry you. I clenched my jaw. Then that's what I'll do. I'll turn this anger, this betrayal, into a plan. I'll show them that I'm more than they ever imagined. More than invisible. For the first time since leaving my family, I felt clarity. Pain and humiliation didn't feel like defeat anymore. They felt like fuel. and I was ready to use it. "Liam, we got a meeting with potential investors today," Daniel said as I arrived at the office. I swallowed hard. "This is it?" "The big one." "Yes, treat it seriously. Don't fumble." Sophie smiled. "Don't worry, you've got this. You've been practicing all week." I nodded, trying to steady my nerves. "Thanks, Sophie." "I hope so." Mark nudged me. "Just breathe. Remember, they want to see your passion, not just numbers." In the conference room, the investors shuffled papers, barely glancing at me. I cleared my throat. "Good morning. I'm Liam Matthews. Thank you for taking the time today." An older man, Mr. Franklin, looked up. "Mr. Matthews, we've heard promising things about your startup. Convince us it's worth investing." I swallowed, glancing at Daniel. He gave a subtle nod. I straightened my back. "Our technology streamlines workflow for small businesses, saving them time and reducing costs. With your investment, we can scale and reach more clients efficiently." A woman investor, Ms. Harper, raised an eyebrow. "And your projections? Are they realistic?" I clicked through the slides. "Absolutely. Here are our current clients, their feedback, and a conservative estimate of growth over the next 2 years. We've accounted for market fluctuations and potential obstacles." They whispered among themselves. I felt my heart race. Then Mr. Franklin looked at me. "I like your confidence. And your preparation. We're in." I blinked. You're investing?" "Yes," he said, with a small smile. "Let's move forward." Sophie and Mark clapped quietly. Daniel gave me a rare grin. "Well done, Liam. You earned this." I felt a rush of satisfaction, but it was tempered by a pang of melancholy. I thought about Ethan, probably flaunting his trust fund without any effort. Karma, I realized, had a way of balancing itself. Later that evening, I checked my phone. A message from Alex. "Congrats. Told you, hard work pays off." I typed back, "Yeah, feels good. Better than I imagined." Scrolling through social media, I noticed Ethan had posted a picture in a luxury car, captioning it, "Living the easy life." I laughed bitterly. "Easy life, huh?" I muttered to myself. Then I saw comments, people questioning his financial decisions. Apparently, he had already mismanaged part of the trust fund. Dad's name popped up in a news article about Ethan's mishaps. Robert Matthews faces family financial frustration. I leaned back in my chair. It seems like life has a sense of humor. Alex texted again. "That's karma, buddy." "Enjoy it responsibly," I smirked. "I am." But quietly, Daniel walked by, noticing my expression. "Everything okay, Liam?" "Better than okay," I said. "Feels like things are finally aligning. My hard work, my choices, and, well, karma is doing its part." He chuckled. "Good. Keep focused, though. This is just the beginning. Later, I had a short call with one of our minor business contacts. It's Mr. Ellis. "Congratulations, Liam. Your presentation was compelling. I'm eager to see this grow." "Thank you, Mr. Ellis. I appreciate your confidence," I said, my voice steady. After hanging up, I leaned back in my chair. I realized the satisfaction I felt wasn't just about money or success. It was about independence. The trust fund, Ethan, my family's favoritism, it didn't define me anymore. Alex called. "So, first victory? How does it feel?" I smiled, letting myself relax for the first time in months. Empowering. I didn't need their approval. I didn't need the trust fund. I did it myself. "Exactly," he said. "And you'll keep doing it." I looked at the office window, the city lights reflecting in the glass. Yeah, one step at a time. I'll enjoy this victory, but I won't let it change who I am. This is proof I can stand on my own. Sophie popped her head in. "You coming to dinner with the team tonight?" I smiled. "Yeah, I'll be there." "Let's celebrate." Quietly, Mark grinned. "Quietly, huh? Sounds like a plan." I sat back and let the moment sink in. Success tasted sweet, but sweeter still was the knowledge that it was mine. Earned with my own hands. And as I thought about Ethan, Dad, and the chaos unfolding back home, I felt a quiet satisfaction. Life was unfolding the way it should naturally, without me lifting a finger to force it. And that feeling, that subtle empowerment, was worth more than any trust fund. I stared at my laptop screen, scrolling through the latest news. Ethan had made another reckless investment, losing a chunk of the trust fund. Dad's frustration was spilling into interviews, legal statements, even posts on social media. My chest tightened. Alex called. "Liam, you awake? You sound tense in your messages." "I am tense," I admitted. "I keep thinking, should I step in? Help them before it gets worse?" "Step in?" he asked. "Liam, you walked away for a reason. You don't owe them a thing." "I know," I said, my voice low. "But part of me wants to fix what Dad never fixed for me." Alex sighed. "But would that solve anything? Or just drag you back into their mess?" "I don't know," I muttered. I can almost feel Dad's judgment again. Remembering dinners, the announcements, Ethan smirking while I pretended to smile. I hate it, but part of me wants to stop the suffering before it gets ugly. Daniel appeared at my office, leaning against the doorway. "Liam, I heard you talking. Tough call?" "Yeah," I admitted. "I keep thinking about stepping in, helping my family manage the trust fund, guide Ethan. But if I do, it feels like I'm giving them control over my peace again." Daniel nodded. "You've earned your independence. Karma has a way of balancing things without your interference. Think about it, how much energy do you want tied up in their failures?" I rubbed my temples. But the guilt. If I do nothing and things collapse completely, I'll feel responsible, even though I shouldn't. "That's normal," Daniel said. "But guilt doesn't mean obligation. Your obligation is to yourself now. Let the consequences unfold naturally. Observe, don't act." I paced the room. It's so hard. Flashbacks keep hitting me, the family dinners, Dad's disappointed stare, Ethan's smirk. Every humiliation fuels this. Anger. Part of me wants revenge. But the other part wants detachment. I don't want to be dragged back into the mess. Alex chimed in through the speakerphone. "See? That's exactly why you don't intervene. Detachment is power. Revenge is just more pain. You've worked hard for freedom, Liam. Don't throw it away," I sighed. "I know, I just wish I didn't feel so conflicted." Daniel leaned forward. "Conflict is proof you care. But care doesn't mean action. Sometimes the strongest move is staying silent, letting life handle itself while you build your own path." I nodded slowly. "So, watch and let karma do its work." "Yes," he said. "You've already proven yourself capable. Your role isn't to fix them, it's to live your life fully and with integrity." I glanced at my phone again. Another post from Ethan flaunting a new purchase. Another lawyer statement from Mr. Stanton trying to mitigate damages. I felt a flicker of amusement, then relief. Alex laughed softly. "See, you get to stay detached and still witness the consequences. No need to intervene." "Detachment," I repeated under my breath. It's freeing, but bittersweet. Watching their struggles while knowing I could have helped. But I've earned the right to this distance. Daniel smiled. "That's the growth, Liam. Moral strength isn't about stepping in every time. It's about choosing when your energy is worth investing." I leaned back, closing my eyes. Flashbacks of humiliation, the trust fund announcement, Dad's judgment, Ethan's smirk still stung, but they no longer controlled me. Anger turned into strategy, resentment into resolve. "I think this is the choice," I said quietly. "I won't intervene. I'll let things unfold. I'll remain detached, but I'll watch. I'll learn, and I'll keep growing, untouched by their chaos." Alex's voice came softly, like reassurance. "Exactly. You're free, Liam, and you're staying true to yourself." I opened my eyes and smiled faintly. True, free, independent. For the first time, I can let the past fuel me without controlling me. Karma will handle them. I'll handle me. Daniel nodded approvingly. "Good. Now, go back to your work. Build your life." The rest is out of your hands. I closed the laptop and leaned back in my chair. Watching, learning, detaching, this was harder than revenge, but it felt stronger. And for the first time, I felt completely in control of my choices, my moral compass, and my future. I scrolled through the news feed, and there it was. A headline about the Matthews family mansion. Matthews' estate faces financial strain amid trust fund mismanagement. I chuckled quietly. Karma, it seemed, had impeccable timing. Alex's text buzzed. Looks like life's catching up with them. I typed back, yeah. Finally, later that day, Daniel called. I heard about your family. Everything okay? Better than okay, I admitted. Ethan's bankrupt. Dad's stressed. Mom. Well, she's showing regret, but it's useless now. Daniel sighed. That's a tough mix, satisfaction and empathy. You're handling it well, though. I rubbed my temples. It's strange. I expected relief to feel lighter, but it's tempered by something else. Sadness, maybe. They're suffering, in part of me. Doesn't want them to hurt, even after everything. Alex popped in on video. You sound calm, Liam. Proud, almost. Restraint? I corrected. Pride. No. Satisfaction that life is balancing itself. Ethan mismanaged everything. Dad's losing face, neighbors gossiping. Uncle Henry called me earlier. He was frantic about Dad asking for loans. I stayed quiet. Alex nodded knowingly. That's powerful, Liam. Watching without acting, that's restraint. I leaned back in my chair. Exactly. Yesterday, the neighbors commented on social media about seeing movers take luxury items from the mansion. Irony tastes bittersweet. It's a symbolic moment. What they valued most is slipping away. Daniel's voice softened. It's natural to feel conflicted. Part of you wants them to learn, part of you wants them to survive. Yes, I admitted. Mom called me later. She said, I should have supported you differently. I didn't respond much. Her regret feels hollow now, and I don't know if it would help me or her. Alex chuckled. Sometimes silence is louder than words. You're letting consequences teach them, not lectures. I smiled faintly. True, Dad called too, furious. He asked me why I didn't step in. I told him I can't undo what's already in motion. He went quiet after that. Daniel raised an eyebrow. Ouch, that must have felt good. I laughed softly. Strangely, it did. Not maliciously, but validation without retaliation. I don't have to fix them. They're facing the natural outcome of their choices. Alex leaned forward on the video. You're growing, Liam. You're seeing justice without having to enforce it. That's rare. I never imagined it this way, I said. All my life, I wanted recognition from them. Now, recognition is irrelevant. They're learning the hard way. I'm safe, independent, detached. Later, I saw a clip of Uncle Henry on a neighborhood video call, frantically negotiating for help. Robert, this can't continue. Loans, debts, people are talking. We have to manage this. Dad's voice cracked over the feed. I know Henry. I'm trying, Ethan. He's reckless. I trusted him too much. I sipped my coffee, keeping calm. They're unraveling without me doing anything. It's quietly satisfying, but it's not revenge. It's life unfolding. Alex's text buzzed. Remember, it's not about pleasure from their pain. It's learning from their mistakes while protecting yourself. I typed back, exactly. I'm free. They're accountable. The mansion appeared on another news clip, auction notices displayed across the screen. I murmured to myself, all the grandeur, all the privilege, gone. Symbolic, isn't it? What they once controlled is slipping away. Alex called again. How are you feeling? Complex, I admitted. Restraint, satisfaction, and a twinge of empathy. I can't undo their suffering, but I don't have to be part of it. I've learned detachment is more powerful than action sometimes, Daniel added, and morally sound. You're letting natural consequences shape them while preserving your integrity. I nodded slowly. It's strange. I feel in control without touching their lives. Watching, learning, remaining emotionally detached. There's a strange calm in it. Alex smirked on video. Calm, Liam. Sounds like you've finally leveled up. I smiled faintly, staring at the screen. Maybe karma is unfolding naturally. I don't need to intervene. I don't need to rescue them. The lesson is theirs, not mine, Daniel concluded. Exactly. Keep building your life. Observe, learn, and maintain your peace. That's the real victory. I leaned back in my chair, sipping coffee, watching news clips, and reading updates. Ethan's mismanagement, Dad's frustration, Mom's regret, it all played out like a cautionary tale, and through it all, I remained calm, detached, and strangely satisfied. Justice had arrived, not through revenge, but through life's natural balance. I walked into the small cafe in Manhattan, the hum of quiet chatter filling the air. Dad was already there, hunched over a coffee cup, while Mom sat beside him, fingers entwined nervously. Ethan lingered awkwardly at the table's edge. I took a deep breath and sat down. "Hi," I said, keeping my voice even. Dad looked up, eyes tired. Liam, thank you for coming. We need to talk. Mom reached out. Liam, I'm sorry. For everything. I should have supported you differently. I nodded slowly. I heard that before, Mom. But this time, words feel smaller than actions. Dad's jaw tightened. I never realized how much I hurt you. I thought I was providing guidance, but I see now I favored Ethan over you, consistently. I stared at him. Over me, Dad? Not just financially, emotionally. I spent my whole life trying to impress you, trying to earn a glance of approval. But you had already decided I was invisible. Ethan swallowed. Liam, I messed up too. I didn't appreciate anything you did, the way you worked hard, built yourself. While I wasted everything, I looked at him, studying his face. There was honesty there, a flicker of genuine regret, but the hurt ran too deep. Ethan, too late. You can regret it all you want, but it doesn't undo the years of being overlooked, humiliated, or ignored. Mom's voice quivered. We were blind, Liam. We failed to see your pain. I wish I could go back. I shook my head. Wishful thinking won't fix anything. The trust fund, the favoritism, the endless comparisons. That's all part of your legacy, not mine. I walked away. I built my life without your help. That's proof that I don't need your validation. Dad's voice cracked. I don't deserve your forgiveness. But I had to tell you I'm sorry. All of us. I met his gaze, holding my composure. Apology accepted, but don't mistake it for reconciliation. I've learned that my self-worth isn't tied to your recognition. I'm stronger now. I've grown without you. Ethan shifted in his seat. I really am sorry, Liam. I wasn't aware of how much I hurt you, or how badly I squandered what Dad gave me. I envy your independence. I nodded slowly. Independence comes with choice, Ethan. I chose to step away. I chose to live my life by my rules. You chose comfort and privilege, and look where it got you. I don't need to teach you lessons there already in motion. Mom's eyes welled up. I just want you to know I see you now. Truly see you. Not as my son who needed correcting, but as you. I allowed myself a small sigh. I appreciate that, Mom. But understanding isn't a lifeline for me anymore. I've already crossed that bridge alone. The strength I have is mine. I don't want to rely on anyone else to feel complete. Dad's hands trembled slightly. I never realized how much our favoritism hurt you. I thought I was being fair, giving Ethan a head start. But I see now it was blind to your efforts, your achievements. I leaned back, keeping my voice calm. Fair? No, Dad. Favoritism isn't fairness. It's choosing one over another. That choice shaped me, shaped my decisions, and forced me to find myself. You weren't paying attention, and that's on you. Ethan's head dropped. I I never thought I'd be the one envied. I've ruined everything. And I'm ashamed. I studied him silently. The regret was palpable, but my own journey couldn't hinge on forgiving him. Feel ashamed, Ethan. Let it teach you something. But I won't let your failures define my happiness. That's where I've changed. That's where I win. Mom's voice trembled. Do you hate us? I shook my head slowly. Hate, no. Resentment? Maybe a little, for the lessons I had to learn the hard way. But hate isn't productive. I've let go of needing your love to survive. That's my liberation. Dad's eyes filled with tears. I wish I could undo the pain. I cut him off gently. You can't, and I won't let it control me anymore. What matters now is that I've learned who I am, and I don't need your validation to feel complete. That's the closure I needed. Ethan's gaze met mine. I hope. You keep thriving. Truly, you deserve it. I gave him a faint smile. I will, and you. You'll have your lessons. Live through them. That's all I can say. Mom's hand hovered over mine, uncertain. So, we're done here? I nodded. We're done in the sense that I've drawn my boundaries. I love you as my family, but I will no longer let the past or favoritism dictate my emotions. That chapter is closed. Dad's voice broke. I understand. I'm proud of the man you've become, Liam. I allowed a small, calm smile. Thank you, Dad. That's enough. I stood, glancing at Ethan one last time. Goodbye, all of you. Take care of yourselves. I'll take care of me. Walking out of the cafe, the crisp Manhattan air felt liberating. I breathed deeply, feeling the weight lift off my shoulders. For the first time, I realized I was no longer a son competing for recognition. I was Liam Matthews, strong, independent, and free from the chains of favoritism and validation, and that freedom was everything. I stepped into my new apartment, sunlight pouring across the hardwood floors. Boxes were stacked neatly, a sign of progress and independence. I smiled to myself, feeling a sense of accomplishment I had never experienced in my family's mansion. My phone buzzed. Emma's name flashed across the screen. Hey, Liam. How's the new place? Emma, it's finally mine. No one to judge, no one to overshadow me. Just me and my space. Her laugh was warm. I love that for you. You deserve it. I can't wait to see it. I leaned against the counter, thinking how much she had come to mean to me. You know, being here, it feels different. I've built this myself. Every step, every decision, it's mine. And you. You've been part of this journey in ways I didn't expect. Emma's voice softened. I'm glad, Liam, seeing you grow, claim your life. It's inspiring. You've turned betrayal into strength. I chuckled lightly. Never thought I'd say this, but yeah. Betrayal shaped me, forced me to learn, to survive, to be better. And now it feels like freedom. Later at the office, Sophie and Mark greeted me. Liam. Congrats on the expansion, Sophie said, gesturing at the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Mark grinned. Yeah, you did it. You're your own man now. No trust fund, no favoritism. Just skill and determination. I shook my head, smiling. Thanks, both of you. I couldn't have done it alone. And Daniel's advice? Helped me stay grounded. Double quotes. Emma appeared behind them, smiling. And don't forget the support network outside the office, she teased. I turned to her, my heart warming. Exactly. You've been steady, understanding, challenging me when I needed it, encouraging me when I doubted myself. She laughed softly. Someone had to. You're stubborn, Liam Matthews. Guilty as charged, I said, grinning. But look at me now, resilient, self-sufficient, and surprisingly patient. Sometimes Emma raised an eyebrow. Surprisingly. Okay, occasionally impatient, I admitted. But I've learned the value of balance, of giving without losing myself. Betrayal taught me that. Later that evening, we walked along the Brooklyn waterfront, the lights reflecting on the river. I felt a sense of peace I hadn't felt in years. Do you ever miss your old life? Emma asked quietly. I shook my head. No. The mansion, the trust fund drama, all of it made me dependent, seeking approval. I wouldn't trade the lessons I learned for comfort. Independence is priceless. Emma smiled, brushing her fingers against mine. And you've built more than a business or an apartment. You've built a life worth living with integrity and love. I nodded. I donate anonymously now, to causes that mattered to Dad and Mom, but were overlooked. Seeing people helped without anyone knowing. It's humbling, fulfilling, symbolic of what I've learned. Real power doesn't need recognition. She squeezed my hand. That's beautiful, Liam. You've transformed pain into purpose, and I feel lucky to witness it. Back at my apartment, called Alex. You won't believe this, but the business just secured a new partnership. Expansion across 2 more boroughs. Alex laughed. I told you, Liam. Hard work pays off. And now you have Emma, your apartment, and respect from people who actually matter. I smiled, thinking of the contrast with my family's chaos. Yeah, no more chasing approval. I'm building something sustainable, meaningful, and it feels good. Truly good. Emma leaned against me, looking out the window at the city lights. Liam, you've come a long way. You're not the boy who needed validation anymore. You fully, unapologetically. I exhaled, feeling the weight of the past lift further. I am. Betrayal taught me resilience. Walking away taught me independence. Detachment taught me self-respect. And now, I looked at her, smiling softly. Now I feel empowered, fulfilled, and ready for whatever comes next. Sophie texted, Dinner tomorrow? Celebrate your growth. I typed back, absolutely. Emma and I will be there. Let's make it a toast to independence and self-transformation. Emma laughed. See? People celebrating you, not your last name. I nodded. The irony not lost on me. Exactly. This recognition, this life is earned, not given. And it feels better than anything Dad or the trust fund could have offered. Later that night, I poured a glass of wine, sitting by the window. Emma curled up beside me, and I thought about everything betrayal, walking away. The long climb toward independence. Liam, she whispered, resting her head on my shoulder, you're happy, aren't you? I smiled, letting the city lights wash over me. I am. And I finally understand life's richest rewards come from building yourself, not inheriting someone else's approval. Emma kissed my temple softly. To growth, Leah Matthews. And to love earned, not given. I raised my glass silently. To growth, to independence, and to a life truly my own. And in that moment, I felt complete resilient, self-sufficient, and finally free from the chains of the past. I sat at my desk. Sunlight filtering through the blinds, a photo of my younger self staring back at me. Little Liam, eager to please, desperate for approval. Funny how far I'd come. My phone buzzed. Heard Ethan still struggling? Classic karma. I smiled faintly. Yeah, he called Dad again, begging for advice. Dad's calmer now, humbled. Mom, she's learning humility too. They're adjusting slowly. Emma appeared in the doorway. Thinking about them again? Just reflecting, I said, it's strange. Seeing them humbled feels satisfying, but not in a mean way. Just balanced. Justice. Finally, she leaned against the doorframe. And you? How's Leah Matthews? I chuckled. Flourishing. Business is growing. We're expanding into new markets. I have a home I love, friends I trust, and you. Someone who believes in me without conditions. Emma smiled. Sounds like a life well lived. I picked up an old letter from Dad, folded neatly in my drawer. I ran my fingers over the paper. I hope you understand one day. His words were decades late, but they mattered differently now. I didn't need them to validate me. I read them and saw growth, not dependency. Sophie called from the office. Liam, you're officially the lead on the new project. Investors are impressed. Thanks, I said. Feels good to earn this, not inherit it. Later, I glanced at the photo again. I remembered dinners, the smirks, the announcements, the trust fund that never came my way, the anger I felt, the humiliation. It fueled me, pushed me to find independence and resilience. Alex's voice rang in my mind. You re-free, and you've turned pain into power. I smiled, turning to Emma. You know, every betrayal, every slight, every moment I felt invisible, it built me. Not just career-wise, but emotionally. I can feel peace now in a way I never could before. She touched my arm. And that peace earned yes, I agreed. I've let life teach the lessons my family never could. Ethan's failures, Dad's humility, Mom's reflection, their consequences unfolding naturally. I don't need to intervene. Watching, learning, staying detached. That's been my real victory. Emma laughed softly. You sound philosophical. I shrugged, smiling. Maybe, but it's true. I don't resent them anymore, and that's powerful. I've come full circle. That little boy who needed approval? He's finally gone. Emma kissed my temple. And the man who remains? Confident, resilient. Free, I said. I can focus on growth, love, and creating a life that's mine. Karma fulfilled itself without my interference. And in doing so, I've gained clarity, closure, and peace. I folded the letter carefully and placed it beside the photo. Symbols of the past. Yes, but also reminders of strength, lessons, and the journey from betrayal to self-realization. Alex texted again. Proud of you. Liam, truly. I leaned back in my chair, glancing at the skyline. Manhattan, once a place of judgment and expectation, felt like the backdrop of my life, not the stage of my inadequacy. Emma squeezed my hand. You're happy, aren't you? I nodded, exhaling slowly. I am. Life's balance has its own rhythm. I've let it unfold, watched justice take its course, and built my world on my terms. I've earned everything I haven't. Nothing feels sweeter than knowing it's mine, without compromise. And with that, I felt it closure, fulfillment, and a quiet satisfaction. Karma had run its course. I had grown. I was finally free.